Professor Paul Kelly, this is a terrible question to put to you, but could you sum up on liberty?
Well, Mill claims that the book is about one very simple principle, and to try and make that simple principle simple, it is the claim that the only reason that the state, or importantly society, can interfere with the actions of an individual is to prevent harm to the wider society. It is not for the good of the individual themselves.
Right. And what impact did that have when it was published?
The immediate impact was obviously controversial. I mean, this was very much against the prevailing political climate of the 19th century Victorian society. Many of the readers thought this was an unacceptable political view. Mill's liberty principle certainly didn't catch on, and it is one of the more controversial views that Mill held in the 19th century.
What do you think he would have made of today's government? Because he's very anxious about government dominated by public opinion, wasn't he? He thought that was quite dangerous.
He certainly thought that government shouldn't be the slave of public opinion. I mean, there's a lot of things he wouldn't like about the current government policy, and it's not just a party point. I mean, certainly the sacrifice of liberty for security is something that he would have objected to fundamentally. In the end, you know, liberty has a price. It's a price worth paying, but we have to face up to that. We lose a lot if we sacrifice liberty for other things. He wouldn't have been as enthusiastic about government intervention in the economy, for example. I mean, he is, in that sense, a classical liberal. The economy is one place that the government should be out of. But public opinion, too, is the very important contribution. Public opinion he saw as an important aspect of modern society, but it was also dangerous. I think this is perhaps one link between Mill and Darwin. There's a very famous second chapter on liberty, which is about freedom of the press. And he says, you know, that publication and the development of ideas is absolutely crucial to human progress. And one of the things he has in mind there is what he would have known about Darwin's caution about publishing his own ideas in The Origin of Species, where he developed the thesis and sat on it for a long time. Mill was very, very worried that human progress was frustrated by people fearing the effects of ideas on public opinion.
What impact did he have, do you think?
Well, at the time, his impact, particularly on the debates about liberty, was somewhat marginalised. Not long after he died in 1873, the debate changes, and you get the development of a much more activist conception of liberalism, where the state starts to do the things that culminate in the modern welfare state. The liberalism that gives us William Beveridge or John Maynard Keynes is different to Mill's liberalism. So in one sense he falls outside of the development of ideas. But as I say, post-war, post-Second World War, and particularly the sort of challenge to state paternalism that you see with the Wolfenden Committee, which is concerned with prostitution, homosexuality, and then subsequent debates with the Williams Committee on Film Censorship and Obscenity. All of those reflect Millian principles. He very much shapes much of our sort of current public debate in a way that he didn't really affect things at his own time. He was very much ahead of his time.
Are you Millian in essence?
Yes, I think in one sense I have to say yes. I mean, there's a lot of things about Mill's views which I think just don't hold for modern states. But his fundamental concern that the worry is not simply the tyranny of states, but also the tyranny of the populations that in a sense mobilise political power is something you have to be aware of.
Especially now.
Yes, mass society, the 20th century has shown us that mass societies, you know, are good in terms of leading to democracy, but they can also be dangerous. So there's an important warning we get from Mill.
Professor Kelly, thank you very much.